Something special.
Hi friends, welcome back or welcome to Friends in High Places podcast. So today I have Thomi joining me again.
Hi friends of Friends in High Places.
And yeah, we're just gonna do some chit-chatting and hanging out. How you doing, dude? How was your last week been?
It was good.
Good.
Yeah, it's been good. Was really happy we got the Brittany episode out.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel better getting that out? Because I know that was a bit of an anxiety-inducing.
I was so anxious about it. Oh my god. I was so excited about it, but so anxious about it because like you and I talked, and I even said on the episode, like I kind of over planned for it and almost like put my expectations up for myself up a little too high. But yeah, no, I'm happy with it. Got lots of really good feedback, so I'm super stoked about that. And yeah, I think it was a really good episode. I think people are enjoying it. Had a lot of people message me saying that they learned new things about the situation from our episode, and yeah, they were just stoked about it. So
that's good. Yeah, you kind of were feeling a little not so happy about it after. Like, there was a lot of stuff you wanted to bring up and you didn't, but it's kind of hard to plan a podcast unless you're literally going to give yourself a script, right?
Exactly. So, and I don't want to do that. Like I mentioned on my opening intro episode, like I want to do as little editing as possible, and same with like scripting. I don't want it to sound like a script. I don't want it to sound like we planned every single thing out what we're going to say. I want it to be like very organic and just like normal and in the moment kind of thing, right? So
yeah, exactly.
So definitely.
Do you find that like the anxiety you have around the episode kind of goes away after it's been put out, or do you need to wait for like some feedback to come in before you stop feeling anxious about it?
No, once it's out, I'm like, I'm never listening to it again. I'm never thinking about it again. It's done.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things, like once it's out of your control. You did what you could, right?
Exactly. And like, of course, I love the feedback. I love hearing what people have to say. I love hearing any like advice, anything like that. But yeah, I just kind of, I don't base my feelings towards the episode on what people say, because if I do that, then, you know, I could set myself up for like disappointment as well. Not saying that anyone's been negative or rude or anything like that. Like everyone's been so amazing with all the support and all the love and all the feedback. But yeah, I don't want to just base my feelings towards the episode, even the podcast in general, because like I was messaging this one person, listener, a few days ago, and they were saying that like they anticipate every Wednesday, every like time a new episode's dropping, and they're so excited. It's actually the same person that told me that they on Wednesdays look for my new episode before they even have their coffee or their first hoot of the day. And yeah, like I've said in the past, like coming from like a stoner, that's a huge deal. If you're looking for something, getting up and not having your first hoot, your energy is towards something else. Like that's a pretty big deal. So like
never
I feel
mind
so
coffee.
honored. And coffee, 100%.
Yeah.
So yeah, it like makes me feel really honored. And anyways, I was talking with this person, this listener, and I was like, thank you so much, really appreciate your feedback and you listening and your support, and it makes me so happy that like you wait for my episodes every single day. And I was just like, and honestly, like if I just have a couple people that tell me this, like that's all I want. Like honestly, I don't need a huge following. I don't need my podcast to be the #1 podcast. I mean, as amazing and cool as that would be, it's just like I love talking to those people who are like, yeah, I could resonate so much with that or relate with it. And you know, I really like hearing your input or advice or whatever, and I'm just like, that's all I want. If I have like 4 people who say that to me and are looking forward to hearing my new episodes every week, my fucking dreams come true. Like that's what I wanted planning this podcast. And like you and I even talked about it a lot too when we both were planning the podcast and kind of like talking about it together. Like we're not in for it for the like following.
The success, the clout, any of
the
it.
clout,
Right,
exactly. Like, it's just something fun and cool to do. So, like, yeah. Anyway, that just kind of went on a rant, but...
No, but that's good. And, like, I think that's important, like, keeping your expectations, like, reasonable. And I don't think that anyone is ever going to find happiness doing something for external validation. Like, you're always going to be striving for more, like, validation in that way. Whereas if you are internally, like, satisfied with what you did, then that brings an actual level of, like, happiness and peace with something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And especially something like podcasts, like there's like thousands and thousands of podcasts now. So to try and be the best or the top, it's like not even really viable, I don't think.
Right, exactly. Like 100%. And that's just kind of like how I felt with the Britney episode too, where this whole entire rant started, was that even though I didn't say everything exactly maybe how I wanted to, or did the timeline exactly how I wanted to, I'm still happy that I said a lot of the things I did, and I did get a lot of the facts that I learned out of that YouTube series onto the episode, because like I said, I had a lot of people message me being like, wow, I learned a lot from this. So that was my goal.
And that's what I was trying to tell you after too. Like I was saying, you know, there were things you mentioned that I'd never heard before either. So I know there's a lot more you wanted to say, but we would have had to do our own deep dive YouTube series in order to talk about it. And then at that point, you're almost just recycling what everyone else has said, and you want to talk about how you feel about it, not necessarily what everyone else has said. So
yeah, exactly. I agree. And it also already was, before editing, an 1.5-hour episode, if anyone was wondering.
It was crazy long.
It was very long. So I did do
We started going off on some daylight savings tangent that we edited out. Like, it's so funny because when you're trying to, like, fill time and space, the default is, like, weather. Like, you know, you start talking about the weather or something stupid like daylight savings. So when we're listening back, I'm like, seriously, Thomi, nobody gives a shit about daylight savings.
We both just, like, went on this whole tangent over daylight savings.
And sometimes it's like nervousness, like you just want to say something and start talking. I don't know, I think that'll come with more experience in doing these episodes and recording and not feeling so awkward about just jumping right into the topic. And we should know now too, if we have like an entire episode about something we're kind of quote unquote deep diving into, we don't even need to bother with the small talk. We don't have time for that.
Just jump into it. Say like, hey, we're back. What's up, guys? And this is what we're talking about today.
Exactly.
I mean, even in the episode title or details, it's gonna say what we're chatting about. Like I always put a little point form base about what's touched on in this episode or whatever. So like when people click on it, they already know kind of what's expected of the episode they're about to listen to. So yeah, it's there's no point in sitting there being like, so dude, what's up? How's it going? Like, I haven't talked to you in the last few days. But sometimes it's kind of nice too, because I'd like the listeners to also be a part of like us just chilling and chatting. So like we are right now, just like reflecting on the last week of the Britney episode being out and stuff. So yeah, but it was really funny. Editing all that shit out was so fucking funny.
Yeah, that was funny. It was, sometimes it's just really like, why did we say that? But no matter what, you're never going to be interesting 100% of the time. You're never going to be, you know, like saying something noteworthy all the time, which is just why, like, that's kind of social media in a nutshell. It's like taking the most important and interesting parts of your life and making it seem like that's always what you're living, right? Like,
Exactly.
Which is not a good way to be putting it out there. And that's why I really, like, I respect a lot of people who are like influencers, celebrities, any of that, who make it known like my life isn't always perfect. Please know that I didn't always wake up and look this way, you know, like it's really important to try to bring some perspective. And sometimes I think people like treat it as if, you know, you shouldn't even be entitled to say something like that because you're in such a place of privilege, and, you know, stop talking about all the negativity. Like, for instance, like Oprah's interview with Prince Harry and Megan Markle, and, you know, they started talking about their struggles, and all these people are saying, you know, basically like, oh, you're part of the royal family. How hard can your life be? Like, you don't have problems. You're not poor. This, and that. And, like, that's just really not fair for people to expect that there aren't going to be struggles. And, like, I understand a part about, like, acknowledging your privilege, but it's just so terrible to say to someone, I don't believe that you had a hard time. You couldn't have had a hard time because you're privileged. You have money. You have wealth. You have fame. Like, that's just really unfair.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just, like, so fucked up because, like, I said, and we talked about in the Britney Spears episode, like, you don't know what the fuck goes on behind closed doors. It doesn't matter who the person is, what their status is, and if they're famous, if they're a celebrity, if they're well known, if they're just a normal freaking human being who lives their everyday life. Like, everybody goes through shit, and that's fucking life. And I didn't get a chance to watch that Oprah interview. I know you and I kind of chatted about watching it, and we both kind of didn't get around to it quite yet. But I did do some, like, looking online about what was said. I know you have learned a lot about what was said in it, and one of the big things is the mental health struggle that Megan was going through, probably still is going through, but mainly when they were still living in the UK, right?
Yeah. And the press and the way people were talking about it, and then how the royal family dealt with it, how the powers to be in that situation dealt with it. And the biggest thing I'm sure people have seen is that she said that she was having suicidal ideations, and that was one of the big things that made them leave that situation. And what I find to be really, really upsetting is a lot of people have said that they don't believe her, and that she was faking it, and that she's pretending, and that she couldn't have felt suicidal. And a lot of people said about that, like, Megan won't see your posts or comments, but you know who's going to? Your friends and family members who know that they can never come to you about their mental health struggles. And I just think, like, how you can feel however you want about her. I know a lot of people have a lot of strong feelings, but I think it costs less to believe someone when they're telling you about their mental health struggles than to not, right? Like, maybe if the person does quote unquote want validation and attention, you giving them that validation and attention doesn't cost anything, but you ignoring them telling you, I'm having suicidal thoughts, whatever it may be, that can really cost something, right? So why are we so quick to say, I don't believe you, we shouldn't even talk about this, who would bring something else like about that up or whatever? It's horrible, and it really shows your character, I think, if you jump to, I don't believe you.
Yes, I agree. And it's just like victim shaming, or like blaming in a sense. Like, it's just like really fucked up and really sad, and it shouldn't matter who the person is, again, what their life status is, if they are in the spotlight or not. If they are asking for help and reaching out for help, that's it. Whether you excuse me, whether you believe that they are struggling or not, are we not in a world today that we are all about advocating for mental health and talking about mental health, and everyone should talk about their mental health and their struggles, and us help each other out and try and lift each other up and be there for each other when we are going through hard times? So why, just because she is now a part of the royal family, there's no way she can have a mental health struggle? There's no way that she can feel these, or
you should have known this was what was going to happen, marrying into this family.
Exactly. This is like going back to what you said about the Britney situation, when people say, like, well, you asked for this lifestyle, you wanted this lifestyle. Like, that's not true. Just because that's how my cards ended up happening, that doesn't mean it's invalidated that she has
struggles
exactly. Like, it's so crazy to me that people think that, well, you're a part of the royal family, so you should be fine. Everything should be perfect, your life should be perfect.
Exactly.
Same with if you're a celebrity or you're famous. Well, you have all the money in the world. You
Yeah.
have all the
Don't
attention
complain.
in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's because at the end of the day, look at Britney when she cracked because she had so much attention, so much on her, including everything that was going on in her personal life, just like Megan. And that's when you struggle the most, is when you're at your highest peak. Like,
exactly. And like they've even said, like, money doesn't solve your problems, it just creates new ones.
Yeah.
And like even like they've done, when they've looked at like lottery winners, a lot of lottery winners end up bankrupt, like suicide, unfortunately, all these other things, drug abuse, because it doesn't just like solve all of your problems. And that's why, like, I think there's a difference of being tone deaf and being like, for instance, during quarantine, and Ellen DeGeneres in her estate being like, it feels like I'm trapped in jail, not being able to leave my home. Okay, that's tone deaf, because you're saying that when there's people who are literally in jail who don't have homes. That's tone deaf. Now, if you had said, it's actually kind of difficult when my whole life has changed and my routine is different, like, then that's where it's like, yeah, you're allowed to have those struggles. It's the way you kind of put them out there, right? So that's the thing. I don't think that like Megan Markle was trying to say was like, oh, my life is great. And it's like her whole situation is kind of very nuanced, because it's not just the part about the family she's in. First of all, it sounds like they don't like her. They don't want her to be part of the family. Right. But also the way the media treated her, and the fact that she's half black, and the fact that she was a divorcee, and all that, like, when the race part is coming in, and it's like they just hate you for who you are versus for legitimate things, that's just really, really sad.
Very sad. And like, I won't lie, I don't really know much about her, even kind of when it comes down to like the royal family. Even I don't really know much about it. So like, she used to be an actress.
So she was on Suits. She was on the show Suits, and it was like 7 seasons or so. And I actually really liked that show. I watched it with my mom. And she is American, but she was very much Canadian based, because Suits filmed in Toronto. So she kind of became friends with like a few, like Jessica Mulrooney, like Ben Mulrooney's wife. And so she kind of was like very Canadian based. And actually, at one point, she was doing like a Reitman's campaign. So like my mom and I, we always thought she was really like beautiful. So we're like, look at like Megan Markle for Reitman's, like she's so pretty. So when it came out that she was dating Prince Harry, and like my mom loves Prince Harry. My mom was a big Princess Diana fan. She just wants what's best for him, that kind of thing. So she's like, I just really hope he's found his happiness. And so we were kind of rooting for them, right?
Yeah.
I know. So
little stands of them.
Exactly.
Cute.
So I saw everyone kind of like, she's just a social climber. She's just an actress. Like, I don't know what's with people. Like, I don't think anybody in that position would have been accepted. Like, I think everyone, I don't know. And like, they're really, so the whole way that the crown works, it'll go to Charles, and then it'll go to William, and then it would go to William's 3 kids before it ever went to Harry. So now that William has kids, it's like for Harry, he's not in the line of the throne, right? Like, that's not going to happen. So I think he wants to kind of do his own thing. And I'm not even going to get into the whole monarchy thing. The one thing too, like Canada, like we are tied to the monarchy. Like our head of state is the Queen. So we are somewhat tied to it. It's an old, outdated status thing. Whatever, don't need to get into that. But there's still real people behind it. And The Crown, the TV show on Netflix, although it's not an authorized telling of the royal family story, it really puts perspective on what Queen Elizabeth went through and the pressures of being a royal, and everything you do is about the monarchy and to ensure that the monarchy moves forward and you don't affect the monarchy and this and that. And it is a good show. It's a really good show.
I've heard really good things about it. I'd actually like to watch it.
I recommend it. It can be a little slow at parts because there's not always drama happening, but it's really beautiful. Like the cinematography, the sets, the costumes, like are absolutely gorgeous. It's one of the most expensive shows Netflix has ever done. And then what they did was they did the first 2 seasons as like a younger queen, and then they recast everybody to be a bit older for the next like 2 seasons, and then I think they're going to do that one more time. And the last season just dealt with Prince Charles and Diana and Camilla and all that whole situation. So people are already like, fuck Charles, he sucks, he's an asshole, this and that. He does not have a very good like the public perception of Prince Charles is really, really bad. So then this whole thing came out, and then Harry and Meghan are saying obviously parts of the family are worse than others. They commented about how there were people in the family who were concerned about how dark their son's skin color would be.
Oh my god.
And yeah, it was clearly one of the main family members. And then Oprah clarified the next day saying that Harry wanted to make sure it was known that it wasn't his grandmother or grandfather, i.e. the Queen or Prince Philip. Yeah. Therefore, it would have had to have been Charles or William or one of them, and everyone already hates Charles, so they're pretty sure it was him.
Yeah, he's already got a target on his back, so probably was him.
But that's disgusting, and that's why they had to respond to that. So they put out a press statement and said, you know, the racism is something that we need to deal with, because that is a serious accusation, right? It's one thing to say we were unhappy, we were mistreated, but then you bring up this racism thing. And like the Commonwealth, they have countries in Africa, they technically represent and rule over people of color. So that's a very serious accusation. And I mean, yeah, they're a bunch of old white people.
It's still, I've read about it, like seen it online. You'd mentioned it to me. I just like can't even wrap my brain around that. Being scared of the color of the baby's skin. Right. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And so then there we go even more with how she's feeling. She's feeling trapped. I read on Reddit that, and you and I already talked about this, but I want to bring it up, that she got her identity, like, not her identity taken away from her, but she had her passport, her keys, all that kind of shit taken away from her when she entered the house, right?
The family or living there or whatever.
Living situation, yes. Okay, this is like a stupid question, but I'm still going to ask it. So do they live in like a castle?
Not like a technical castle. I mean, for people's standards, it would be like they don't live at the palace. They lived at like a part of the castle, I guess, whatever, in its own, like more of like a cottage, I guess they'd say. But they still had like a staff. And they still were doing like renovations to make the home a little more friendly. Like they still have, and that's the thing is like, because a lot of these things aren't really known. So they were told like they didn't have any duties. They didn't want them doing anything, but then they weren't going to give them security. They weren't going to do this and that, but then yet they had no freedom. So like what are you supposed to do? Like, are you just supposed to just sit there? And that's why they were talking about maybe being stationed in like Canada or Africa, because other members of the royal family have like stepped back and then kind of went and lived in one of the Commonwealth countries, because you're not really playing a role in the monarchy. So at least let us do something.
Right. Exactly. And so then there you go. There you have it. Think how lonely that would be. Oh, yeah. And think how much of a toll that would take on you mentally. Here we all have been in quarantine on and off for the last year. And I would say, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I feel like a big chunk of the population's been having a hard time with their mental health because of it. Feeling very lonely, feeling very secluded, feeling very trapped, feeling like we can't go and socialize and be around people and other energies and just live our life. So think about how she was feeling, and then on top of it all, being pregnant, so having all these hormones going through you, and you are feeling fucking trapped. You are feeling like you're not cared about, that you And then there was talk about like people were being rude to her within the
yeah
what was
and then also like staffers were leaking stories to the press, and then so the thing too that they have a delicate balance with the press in Britain about like they want to stay on their good side so that they report well about them,
right,
and then they were being like just attacks all the time on her. So what they could have done is told the press stop it, which they kind of did in a way, but they could have tried harder, but they didn't want to because they want the press on their side. And it's kind of like also known, like people don't necessarily, like they don't do anything, right, for the actual country. They're figureheads. So I'm not saying they don't do anything. They do have things that they do, but in terms of like politics and how the country operates, they don't really do anything. So people could just decide to kick them out, and they don't want that. So they want the public to still favor them, and they want the press to speak well about them. And so they didn't say anything when they could have. And I think that was the part that was so hard for like Harry and for her. And then I think like it there was a wedge drawn between him and his brother. Apparently Kate never really wanted to help her out either. And then I think one thing that was really interesting that she talked about is like they didn't have like some like a rundown about what you do as a royal. Like she had no idea what she was getting into. She had no idea what she was supposed to do. Apparently the first time she ever met the Queen, they're kind of briefing her on the way there, and like she's like, oh, I'm supposed to curtsy in front of her even in public or in private. Like she literally had no idea. So I think a lot of people thought like, oh, you go to classes, you get told this is what you're going to be expected from you, and nobody ever did that. So part of, again, when you get into the whole, oh, you should have known this is what you're getting into. Well, she didn't. And
this isn't Princess Diaries, people. She didn't get
exactly
how to be.
Exactly. And that's what I was picturing is like, yeah, you would go through like etiquette training and
you would think,
but I'm thinking because she wasn't in that like direct, she's not going to be the queen consort,
Right.
And so she won't need that training. And then like Kate, she was kind of somewhat like in that type of environment and then lived there. So as an American, you don't really know what the royal family is doing. Like, sure, you hear, oh, the press is really excited about William and Kate's wedding, but you don't really know. Neither do we, to be honest. Like, everything that I know is because I have learned about it on my own. Like, we don't even learn in school, like, this is what's expected, this is what happens, right?
Exactly. That's why I was like, I don't really know much about, like, the royal family or any politics behind it because I never learned about it in school.
No.
So, like, I don't...
Exactly. Yeah, so anyway, the whole thing is really sad, and it's worse because obviously they moved to LA, and so people think, oh, this is just them trying to get in the public's graces so that they can start their own projects and get all the money and get all the fame, and maybe that is somewhat of their goal, is to kind of do their own thing, but I think
why is that such a bad thing? Why can they not do their own thing, especially if he's not going to be up for the throne?
Well, and they got cut off from all the money. Like they don't even have security. Right. And he said the only reason he has money is from his mom's inheritance. And it's actually kind of eerie when you think about how she died and what she went through, and before she died she was doing these big interviews talking about she was chased out, they don't like her, you know, there's obviously conspiracies about maybe the Queen killed her or whatever, but the fact that she kind of in a way predicted that this could happen one day and had money set aside for Harry. My understanding is like I think he was the one who got more of the inheritance rather than his brother, because his brother is always going to be fine. He's not, because he's not the direct descendant in line for the throne. So it's kind of crazy that her money is the one that's really helping them right now. And you know, like that's I don't know.
And she struggled with her own mental health struggle.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like that's kind of what was coming out of the woodworks when she was expressing her feelings towards being pushed out and everything. And then...
and they didn't like her. Like, because it's because she was almost too liked.
Right.
by the public. The public freaking adored her. Like, adored her. And
yeah, I remember.
Charles didn't even want to be with her. He wanted to be with Camilla, but he couldn't. He had to marry Diana first because Camilla was divorced. And then he was able to get with Camilla. So that's why it's like she was kind of just like a pawn used. And she was so graceful. She knew how to address the media. She, you know, one of the things I always think about for Diana is, and this is something my mom always tells me too. So when the AIDS crisis was happening, people wouldn't even want to like touch or talk or come into contact with people who had AIDS because they thought that they could get it.
Right.
And there was a point that she was interacting, I don't know what the deal is, but she shook hands directly with somebody who had AIDS. And that literally made such a difference to people. Was like she touched them, and it was just such a human thing because it was, and that should be human. Like, that's so sad knowing now, like, that's how people didn't even want to touch you or, like, to shake your hand thinking you were some icky germ fest. And so that was just kind of the level of humanity that she brought to the public. And I'm sure she had her issues, too. I'm not saying she's perfect, but obviously people really liked her. And it's just kind of crazy that Harry and his wife are going through the same thing that she went through, and we all know what happened to her. So that's really must be hard for them. And then also that's why this whole thing about their security was such a big part of the interview, because obviously he needs security. And that's what he was saying, because they said they wouldn't pay for his security. They said, we don't have the money for that. I don't know if they're poor or if they just don't want to put money up for them, but like he said, like, I was born into this. It's not, I didn't choose to be in this life. And you're not even going to give me security and my son's security. So they kind of had no choice but to kind of cut themselves off so that they were able to make their own money and do their own thing and create their own future. And obviously LA is kind of a place that she would feel comfortable in. She has actor and actress friends, like, you know, I think even her and Oprah have a relationship. So I think it kind of is a natural place for them to end up. And it's not like they have, like, it's not like he has, like, skills in terms of, like, management or something and could go get an office job. Like, you wouldn't do that. So why not go into something that's in the public eye where people already, you know, you have a name for yourself. So
yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
No, definitely makes sense. It's just like a really, really crazy situation, and I still want to watch this interview with Oprah. I really want to see it for myself and learn for myself too. But it's just really fucking sad to think that, because it was when she was pregnant, right? She hadn't had the baby yet, and she was like told Harry, like, I am struggling to the point of, like, I'm thinking about taking my life. Yeah.
Because she thought that it would be better for everyone, that if she wasn't there, that everybody's issues would go away. Like, that's horrible.
That just, like, makes my stomach sink. Oh my gosh, that's so sad. And again, on top of it all, how fucking lonely she was. She didn't have anybody. She didn't have her family to go to. She was, like, in a completely different country. Yeah. And had to stay restricted in this home. And
asked for help. They said that they wouldn't to give her help. What else are you supposed to do? Everything's about, like, oh, think about the story. And it's like, well, think about the damn freaking story if she actually, God forbid, ended up dying. I just... Exactly. That's like, not that that should be the focus, but...
Yeah, but still, like, you're literally telling somebody that you're more worried about what the media is going to say than about their own well-being, their own health, their own safety.
Exactly.
And that's fucked up. Like, that is so fucked up, and that is so fucking wrong. And, like, going against everything that, again, we are trying to do in this day and age about mental health, towards mental health, is talk about it. Talk about it with somebody. Express it to somebody. If you are feeling these feelings, if you are having a bad fucking day, talk with somebody. You don't have to sit there and talk about it all. You just have to say to somebody, I'm not okay. And that can be it. Then they can be there for you. They can try and help you. They can just check up on you in general. And to know that they said no to her and pretty much just slammed that door in her face is so fucked up. Like, it makes me want to fucking cry. Like, I can't even imagine. And think the fucking higher power that Harry put his foot down and was like, I'm not letting my wife fucking live this way.
Exactly.
I am not letting my fucking wife struggle. The mother of my future child fucking think about considering taking her fucking life because she can't live like this and thinks my life, this life would be better without her. Like,
exactly.
Oh, it's just
and people are really focused on, like, they call it Megxit, or she made him leave his family, she made him do this,
no.
she. That's all what people talk about. Is it was her,
this poor fucking woman. Like,
it's I fucking
can't.
He had the ability to make his own decision. Like, I just don't understand, like, the way the narratives are about women is just so ridiculous. Like, as if she's some evil, like, I trapped you with my sexual prowess and you're gonna follow what I want you to do. Like, it's just so bad. It's just so bad. And
it's so ass
I saw
and fucking wrong.
a really nice tweet that we talked about, and someone was like, I didn't think that, like, a 30-something woman of color, divorced woman of color, would come and save the prince from his, like, from his world or whatever, right? Like, plot twist, like, she saved him. And I kind of liked the way that they sort of put that around, because I'm sure he had his own issues. And that's the thing too, is it's not like he's just bringing up mental health for the first time. Like, he really focused on that in his royal duties about mental health. He talked about how he struggled a lot. I mean, he lost his mom at a really young age. He dealt with his own media scrutiny. So I think mental health is something that they actually do care about, and it's not just like, oh, let's just talk about this because it's convenient or trendy to be talking about. So I think that's kind of nice that, like, I don't know, I think that they could do some really important things with their platform now. I think they could talk about all this, but I think that they had to get this out there before they could continue on, like, tell their side of the story. And they were finally able to, because they weren't able to when they were inside of it, like, and kind of gave it a year to actually talk about it.
They had their voice, and like I said earlier, not actually their identity taken away, but kind of their identity taken away, and, like,
your freedom,
that's fucked up. And
it's like a conservatorship in itself.
Exactly. Like 100%. And it's crazy. That's such an abusive, toxic, controlling environment. And
and people just think, like, oh, you're gonna be a princess, like, what a world that would be. And I don't think people think about what that would actually entail. Like,
again, just crazy. Like being famous, it's very hand in hand. Like we talked about earlier, even though they're two different lifestyles, two different situations, how much Britney's situation and Megan and Harry's situation and life, there's so much in common there, is crazy. And then what's the end result is their fucking mental health and well-being being fucking destroyed because of these lifestyles, because of this.
For people's entertainment or tradition. A lot of it is like the stupid tradition thing, like even the throne, like, one thing that they've pushed back against is, like, after you have your baby, you're supposed to come out and, like, present them to the world from your balcony, like, hours later. And they said no. He said absolutely not. And they took a couple days and then did it. And they were kind of able to, because, again, this isn't the future king that they're talking about. Right. So can you imagine, like, giving birth and then having to then get yourself ready to go put yourself out on fucking display?
Like the Lion King.
Dude, like, literally, the Lion King. Like, they do. They go up onto a balcony and they wave to the people, and they're, like, in this, like, the poor... I saw Kate. She had to do it a few times now for all of her kids. And, like, you have to, like... you look horrible. You just gave fucking birth. Like... Dude, it's insane. It's insane. Oh my god. It's insane.
Crazy.
I know.
That is so crazy. Oh my god.
I know. And people were mad when they weren't going to do it that same day. And they were like, no, like, we're going to have a quiet moment at home. And then now that we know as well what she was going through, clearly that had something to do with it, because this was a couple years ago now. Yeah. And that's, oh god, the pressure... That's a whole other thing, is, like,
the pressure women are under after they give birth to a child.
Oh my gosh.
And
it's
like
ridiculous.
The bounce back culture, quote unquote.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Which
is
ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
so when we were talking about some of this stuff, I'm always on the phone with Carissa, going through my Instagram Explore page.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of algorithm I've got myself into, but sometimes Instagram shows me things that make me very angry.
Mm-hmm. And she shares it with me.
We're talking about all this and how Megan's going through this bullshit and whatever. Yes. And then I see
and it's International Women's Day, might I add, when we are having this conversation and talking about this.
Exactly.
Sorry. Keep going.
No, that's fine. That's yes. And so then I see Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom were in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And they were enjoying some time with their baby, you know, trying to get away from it all. So somebody was taking pictures. I don't know if this was people, like, people in the public or if it was paparazzi, whatever. So Orlando Bloom is holding his kid, and he looks fucking pissed because clearly they did not want to be photographed. And then there's security, and then back a ways is Katy Perry standing away from the camera. And I see all these comments. Mm-hmm. She looks like a whale. She's so fat. Oh my God, no wonder she's hiding from the cameras. She's so gross. Oh, and somebody's like, why are people being so mean? She just had a baby. And then a woman comments, yeah, 6 months ago, no excuse to still be fat. Like, can you fucking imagine?
Excuse me.
Like
fucking hold my beer here. Let me fucking go at this. Like, what in the actual fuck?
Actually.
Like, pardon me.
Like, weight, the whole thing about weight is very, very interesting, the way that we treat weight in this society, and like people will get like personally offended by people being overweight, and it's always in the name of, oh, I'm just thinking about their health. And it's like, no, you don't give a fuck about this person.
No, you're not.
You don't give a fuck about them, but you somehow think that you're entitled to comment on their weight. It drives me freaking crazy. And it's so bad for people postpartum. Like, after you've literally given life and made life into the world, created
life for 9 fucking months.
Yes.
A baby was growing in your womb. And
then the first thing you should be worried about is making sure that you're at your pre-baby weight.
That you
Can you fucking imagine?
Like, I literally, I can't. It's just like so fucking ridiculous to me. I don't even get it. I cannot wrap my head around it. And
me neither.
What is it any of your fucking business?
It's
Period.
not.
The end. Unless you are that person in that body and you have your child and a month has gone by or a week or 2 has gone by and you've decided, okay, I want to work out. I want to fucking lose this quote baby weight, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Good for you. If that's what your goal is after you have a child, is to fucking do your bounce back transformation, awesome. Good for you. If you're somebody who's like, I don't give a fuck about this extra baby weight I have, that can be a future me problem, if it even is a problem to me in the future. Right now I'm focusing on being a fucking mother to this newborn child and learning how to fucking take care of this child and get as much rest and get myself as healthy and strong as possible, because I mean, I've never had a child before, but what I've heard from family, friends, experiences, you are fucking exhausted. You are fucking worn down. There's a lot of aftermath symptoms that happen to women after they give birth. Not only the weight aspect, but what your body is fucking
the hormones
going
are still
through.
Trying to balance themselves out. You're not sleeping. Like, you're literally tied to this being's ability to survive.
If you're breastfeeding, you have to constantly be fucking breastfeeding,
making sure you're eating enough for both you and the baby.
Exactly. Like, watching what you're eating because of your baby fucking breastfeeding, because there's certain things that will come out in your breast milk, like and I'm not just talking about alcohol. There's a lot of things that I know you have to be careful, and you've already done 9 months of being careful about what you're putting in your body. And fuck it, if you want to sit there and have a chocolate bar. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
because if not for you, but for everyone else to look at you and think,
to make sure that they
good
think,
for you.
Exactly. Like, no. Miss me with all that fucking bullshit. Fuck that.
It's fucked. It is so fucked. I can't. And like a lot of people say too that their bodies are never the same. Even if you lost all the weight, your body is different. Like you literally, your body has to change to put that baby in the world.
Your fucking organs move.
So,
yeah. Like I've seen pictures online and I'm not gonna lie, it scares the fucking shit out of me. Like, I am sorry, but all my organs are being squished up to my fucking ribs.
Yes.
Like, wait a minute, hold on, that's not normal. Whoa, like, it's just like, no.
And it's even the fact that people think it's a topic of conversation that's appropriate is like super fucked up to me. Like,
disgusting.
And again, it kind of goes like the 2000s media and the magazines were all about that. Where like we were talking about, I'm pretty sure it was Jerry Holloway at like Baby Spice. She went on some television show and they were like, you claim to have lost 6 stone. You need to prove it to us. Step on this scale here. And she had to step on the scale and prove that she did lose that weight after her baby. And they're like, Victoria Beckham lost this much. You only, like, the fact that people think that's okay is just so messed up to me. And I saw today, actually, Emily Ratajkowski, you know who I'm talking about?
No, who is she?
She's a model, and her claim to fame was being in Robin Thicke's frickin' Blurred Lines video. Okay. Anyway, she is on Instagram. She kind of does a lot of, I don't know, activism or something. I don't really know. But anyway, she had a baby, and she's obviously a model, obviously has a body that a lot of people dream of. I say sarcastically. And she had her baby like 10 days ago, and she posted something, and I saw that all these articles were going around today then. Congratulations to Emily Ratajkowski. She has lost all of her baby weight. She looks amazing. Her stomach is so flat. Congratulations. We're so proud of her. Look at her. And it's like, I'm sorry, but what? Like, why is that something to congratulate someone on? And secondly, it's been 10 days. I don't think did she really do anything? Like if,
and that's
I'm sorry, but no amount.
Body is different.
Yes.
Literally everybody's
clearly her body is good for that, because there's no amount of exercise and weight loss you can do in 10 days to lose weight. So she did nothing. I'm sorry, but she did nothing. Why are you congratulating her on that? And why are you celebrating it?
Why are you congratulating and celebrating her body and her quote weight loss after having a baby? Why aren't we talking about congratulations on your baby?
Exactly.
Congratulations on becoming a mother. You are glowing now. Like, you know, like that is just fucked up.
Yeah. No, it's so fucked up. And that's the thing that is so frustrating is it's clearly genetics. Wrong. It's clearly, there's so much to it because, you know, like for her, if that is something you should celebrate, oh, you lost your weight, congratulations. It's like, I'm sorry, I just don't think she did anything. Like, clearly that's just how her body is.
Yeah, like, apparently she just didn't have that little pouch that some people do after they give birth. Apparently hers just, 10 days. Body probably fucking sucked it back up. And okay, awesome, that's great for her. And again, genetics, it's all about genetics. But no, let's just put it on blast how fucking great she looks and how amazing she looks. And look at her fucking after baby weight loss, and like, no, get the fuck out of here. And then again, flashback to Katy Perry. It's been however many fucking months since she had a kid. Like, it doesn't matter. There's no need for commentary on any of the time frame of the aftermath of anything like fucking that. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're just a fucking random person, if you're a fan, if you're a paparazzi, if you're a media person. You have no fucking right to comment on somebody's fucking body and weight after having a child.
It's not a community topic.
General. It isn't. It's none of your fucking business. Everybody has their own fucking body and their own fucking struggles. And it's it all and then same thing with having fucking being bigger, or even like myself, being super fucking skinny and struggling to gain weight. There's mental health issues that come along with that. Fucking insecurities and body dysmorphia feelings that come with all that. And it's on each side of the spectrum. And it's just like, at the end of the day, it is not your fucking place to comment on somebody's weight or the way their body looks or how they look.
No.
Period. The fucking end.
Yep.
And especially fucking women who create
mothers,
fucking life.
Imagine being like a mom who had her kid like 6 months ago, and then you see the way that the media is treating Emily Ratajkowski, and then you see these comments about Katy Perry, and then you start thinking you're not doing something right. And I know that people in like the media and in pop culture are held to a different standard, but that doesn't matter because it still is absorbed into you, and it's like that shouldn't make a fucking difference.
100%.
And the last thing you need to be worried about, and another thing too, is like some women can't start working out and eating healthy after they give birth. Like you have complications. Some people are still on bed rest. Some people are not allowed to go and work out. Like,
and that's what I meant by the fucking aftermath that women's bodies have after giving birth. It's endless. There's so many fucking things that come along after that. Some people are fucking great 10 days later and are up walking around and are great. Other people are in fucking bed for weeks afterwards because they can barely walk, because they are in a lot of fucking pain. They had complications, like you were saying. And so then again, who are you to fucking sit there and judge somebody when you don't know what they have been fucking going through?
Exactly. And like, I'm not saying that obesity isn't a problem and we do need to address it, but it's been about, I guess at this point, about 40 years of people really trying to talk about obesity and weight loss and all that. And more and more people are overweight. And so clearly the way that we're dealing with it has not helped. And making people fucking hate themselves has not helped. That's not going to make anybody lose weight.
Nope.
So I think we should probably rethink how we're dealing with this problem and maybe bring a little bit of humanity into it. And don't be assholes, because making people hate themselves does not make any difference. Like, I don't think people are just waiting for the day that they get some mean comment and then they're like, I'm going to go lose weight now. Like, if anything, that makes people get worse into their mental health struggles, which is a lot of the time what weight is tied to. So I just think, I get so sick of people, like internet warriors, like, I'm just looking out for health. It's a health problem. And it's like, you don't comment every time somebody has a picture of a drink in their hand and say, you know, just so you know, alcohol can do this to your body. No, it's because for some reason, society has made it okay to feel that way about fat people. Like, and I say that like fat as in like a quote, like whatever.
Yes.
It should be an adjective. It shouldn't be an insult.
I agree.
And I just really makes me angry.
And me too. I agree. Like, it's just body shaming is just so fucking wrong, and nobody's fucking place to say anything on anybody else's fucking weight, life, anything. Because again, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You don't know their struggles. So your little comment of, I'm just worrying about their health, could make them go down even more of a spiral into depression.
What about mental health?
Exactly. Because like you said, it's all tied together. And it's just, it's fucked up.
So if there's anybody listening out there who has listened to those comments and is feeling shitty about themselves, just remember that you always have value, no matter your size, no matter your weight. And that's in both ways. People who are told to eat a cheeseburger, people who are told to starve themselves, like everyone has value and should and deserves to be loved and feel loved by themselves. And please just don't listen to people. You are still beautiful. You're still amazing, and you're still worthy of love and being treated like a fucking person with respect.
Yes, 100%. And fuck those people that are commenting rude, negative shit. And I know it's easier said than done, but try not to fucking listen to that. Try not to just see that, because that is not your worth. That is not, they don't know you, and they don't know what you're going through personally. And it's just, it's not right, and it's not their fucking place. And you are fucking beautiful, and you rock your fucking body how you want to rock your body. If you decide in 10 months you want to fucking do something different, do something different. If you decide to stay the same, stay the fucking same. Like, you do you,
Yeah.
And
but do it
whatever
for
makes
you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do it for you and what makes you happy. What makes you feel good. And same with people who are struggling with mental health. You know, we were talking earlier about how Megan had her fucking right taken away to help herself and the door slammed in her face. Like, talk to somebody. Reach out to somebody. If you're having a bad day, if you're having a hard time, message somebody. Somebody is always there, and express it and voice it, and don't keep it in, because it's just going to hurt you more. It's just going to be harder more. And there's always somebody that will listen. There's always somebody that will just let you vent. You don't have to tell your whole story. Like I was saying earlier, you can just say, I'm not having a good day, and that be that. And just remember that everybody has a purpose. Everybody is meant to be on this earth and be who they want to be, and know your fucking worth and know how fucking amazing you are. Period. The fucking end.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of wraps up our episode, because I think that's a really good note to end on.
I think so too.
I think we've talked a lot about some really good topics, and just know that your mental health matters, just you matter. And I'm going to put a link below of like some mental health awareness numbers, some suicidal hotlines. Just going to do something, because I think this episode's a really good one to kind of help bring some awareness to these topics. Don't body shame. Don't judge a person. You don't know
leave
what
people the
are
fuck
going
alone.
through.
Like,
yeah, we're back on the Britney episode. Leave people alone.
Britney alone.
Leave Britney alone.
Seriously.
And also, all you fucking moms out there, all you new moms, old moms, whatever, like, keep fucking rocking it. Do you. Don't fucking listen to what people say that you should look a certain way. You be the mom you want to be. You be the person you want to be. You want to keep that fucking baby weight for months? Do it. You want to work it off when you're ready to work it off? Do it. But don't fucking think you have to live by what these stupid people on social media say, what the fucking media has to say about how women should look a certain amount of time after having a child, because you created life. And that is the most beautiful and amazing thing that a woman can do, in my opinion. It takes a strong ass fucking woman to create a baby for 9 months and then give birth to it and then create a little human, because it terrifies me.
And to the men who support the women through that too.
100%.
Men are also awesome and also play a
100%.
part in that too.
I'm not trying to be a man hater over here.
And you're not. Agree. I just want to make it clear that we don't feel that way.
No, thank you for doing that. Yes, and all you amazing men out there like Harry, who support their fucking wives, who support the mother of their children, who just support their fucking family, their significant other, their partner, like, fucking good for you. You're fucking killing it. You hold a big place in my heart and everybody's heart, and keep cheering each other on. Keep fucking doing it. But yeah, so I think we're gonna wrap it up. Thomi, thanks for coming on here and chatting with me about these important topics. Thank you for educating me on the royal family and the situation and helping.
Thanks to the listeners for listening to us vent. I think we get a little passionate sometimes about these things.
Yeah, we do. We get a little heated. But we're all about fucking women empowering women and people empowering people, men empowering men, women empowering men, men empowering women.
Yes, everybody just be empowered.
All the things. And happy International Women's Month. It's coming to an end. So love all you amazing, strong women out there. Love you, dude. You're one of the main women in my life. And thank you for fucking just being you.
Thanks for you being you too. And I really appreciate this podcast. And I hope that everybody enjoyed our little conversation today.
Yes, me too. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you stay safe, healthy, and positive, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. Bye.
Something classic, something special.